What's up? What's up, Big Cheds? What's happening? What's happening? December 16th, 2021. Ask me anything, Big Cheds. Enough of that. That was fun. Thank you very much, folks. Appreciate you indulging me. I am Big Cheds. I'm coming to you on December 16th, 2021. This is going to be a quick kind of ask me anything type of session. I've got a lot of other stuff you can check out if you want. So I'm going to take you through that right now. So let's go ahead. By the way, I'll see the chat room. I'll catch up in a minute. Hopefully folks heard the music. Last time I did a video, there's no music. Find me on Twitter. I'm at Big Cheds. The book is on Amazon, Kindle, paperback, hardcover. The book, of course, I mean Trading Wisdom. It's on Amazon. And the Audible is available. I just released Audible. Check that out. Go to YouTube, Crypto Banter. Go to hit subscribe and go to their playlist, Trading Wisdom. I have a show with them. We've got 12 of them so far. Great guests. Check that out. Go to my YouTube, hit subscribe. If you're just starting out trading, you must. Make sure I can hear you folks. Let me know how it's going. You must go to the educational live streams. I explain my whole setup, all my moving averages, how I do everything. Check that out. And the free version of this book is available. Trading Wisdom 50 Lessons. There's 9 episodes. I'm going to do the next one probably next week. So I got episode 10 coming out. I'm going to do the whole book for free eventually. And if you want to learn how to trade, of course, Bitcoin Live is the best in class educational platform for crypto. I'm a founding analyst. I'm going to read really quick from the book. We're going to start out with lesson 19, sell and move on. And then we're going to jump right into your questions. Lesson 19, sell and move on. Cutting failed trade positions not only frees up trading capital, it also frees up mental capital. Holding on to and watching your red positions is an emotional drain. Have you ever had the experience of selling and as soon as the order goes through, you feel regret and worry? Maybe you made the wrong decision and you left a lot of profit on the table. Or perhaps you are worried that the small loss you took would have turned around into a nice gain. If you spend your time obsessing over old losses, you have a high probability of generating new losses, right? Just a little something there. So let's get this going. It's a little something there. I'm going to say what's up to everybody in the chat room. Let's see what's going on here. Appreciate the love. I'm not the best trader. I'm a pretty average trader, but I'm a good teacher. I try to be the best teacher in the space. I can tell you 50 better teachers than me off the top of my head. I get it. I'm good academically. I'm becoming a better trader every day. I have a long ways to go. So appreciate that. I'm not the best trader. There are way better traders out there. So here we go. Here's a question. As a seasoned trader, do you get FOMO? Absolutely. It's just a question of do I act on it? And I try not to act on it because I've just been burned so many times in the past. And I have a pretty good strategy, in terms of how to deal with FOMO. Let's see. I fight the FOMO 61. Right. So you basically, I talk about like you get into FOMO. You're the most vulnerable to FOMO when you're on a bad streak, when you've had a bunch of losses ahead of time. That's when you're most vulnerable. So if you stay even keeled and if you never have a lot of big losses and you're really just grinding it out, FOMO doesn't hit you as hard, right? FOMO hits you hard when you are down and out and you've lost a lot of money. So it's easier to deal with FOMO if you're naturally doing okay, right? So that's one way to deal with it. And if I do FOMO, I'll tell you, I set a tight stop, right? Everything I do these days, I have a pretty tight stop loss. I like to define my risks. That's kind of how I deal with FOMO. Let's go back to the top here and just make sure you folks can hear me okay. Sure you can. Philip says, awesome. Thanks, man. So Carmine is asking me a question. What are the optimal suggested levels to put our stop losses? So like basically your stop loss is your thesis or your reason for the trade, right? So let's take an example. Let's go to let's try to find, here's a pretty good example. All right, so here's a low time frame. Here's the 1 hour, and you can just observe the market structure, and you can see you have two pretty well established peaks here. So you say, all right, I can use that. I can use that to structure my trade. And how I'm going to do that, I'll identify this as kind of a key momentum level, and I'll say to myself, if price gets above that level, I'm going to go long. Okay. So you've done that. You've identified the setup. Now you go long. You go long maybe at like whatever. Let's see. What's the high here? 40. And so you go long at like 49.5. But you say, I'm long at 49.5, but my stop loss is going to be just below, maybe that spinning tops. Your stop loss, 49.3 or something like that. I got a quick edge. Sorry about that, folks. I am human after all. So your stop loss is when your idea fails. Okay. The idea here is that you have bullish momentum, that if you buy and you're able to kind of recapture over this level, 49.5, if you're able to really get over this high, that's you're buying into positive momentum. But if the price comes back and it fails and it loses that level, your idea has failed. That's your stop loss. You're out. So ideally, you're entering somewhere that you can very clearly define when the idea fails. That's the pointer. That's your stop loss. Your stop loss is when the idea fails. And ideally, you're able to structure your trade such that the failure point is pretty close by. You don't have to kind of mess around. All right. Let's see. What is going on here? Can we expect 100K? I mean, I don't like the idea of expecting. I like it, I like it a little bit more than predicting, but I don't like predicting either. I don't think we can expect that in January. No, I think the market is vulnerable right now. Overall, we still have bullish market structure, but that can change fast if we close below the weekly 50 period moving average. You can go back to all my live streams this year, my emergency streams, everything you've seen from me recently, or really this year. It's weekly MA50. So as long as that holds, we still have a decent chance of kind of continuing on and maybe doing that, that ascending triangle, that bull thesis, right? The rising demand ascending triangle taking us to 100K in like March, April, May. But 100K in December, I would bet a lot against that. All right, let's see. What is going on, peeps? Luna or AVAX? I think either of these are fine, and that's the point. I did a Bitcoin Live update last night, and I talked about the idea that you have limited funds, right? And the whole idea is that you want to throw your funds in the direction of relative strength. I often say that. So, whether you're playing Luna here, that's Luna weekly, right? Luna's a beautiful chart. You had that nice bounce right off that low 50K area. You can see that, right? The prior high turned into support. It's a nice, beautiful uptrend and a throwback or a bullish retest. And here we have the nice bounce off support as well. Either way, you're playing a bullish chart. So you're fine either way. But like play a play like this, right? You have limited time and limited funds. Play strong charts. Don't mess around with these other ones. Play premium. Play the best stuff. Okay. Let's look for some questions. So let's see. Hi, Chet. How to become a professional TA? So first, you have to decide if you want to be serious about it. Very few people actually do this. So you start up by reading the textbooks. I have them right here. Actually, I don't know if you can see these two textbooks. You start with these two, the classical charting book and then the Japanese candlestick book. And then when you're ready, you go to CMT level 1, right? So if you're serious about it, do it. I can tell you it's changed my game. There's 3 levels. I've only done level 1 so far. I'm reading level 2. I'm taking my time. But level 1 was serious. And doing level 1 just reorganized how I look at things. It let me know what I needed to know to really move forward. And it actually really helped me write the book because I understood things kind of from top down and from bottom up. So it was big. So I definitely recommend it. What's going on, everybody? Let's see. Let's see. I'm just looking for some more questions here. And thank you, everyone, for watching. I'm not even sure how many people we have watching here. I'm just going to hit a quick refresh. All right, 300 people. Nice and chill, right? You're not a huge audience, but I love having you folks. This is really good. So what's going on here? What is this? What is your opinion on the new DAO? I don't even know what this means, right? What DAO financial institutions? I mean, if you give me a ticker, I can chart it. I literally am so nose in the books I don't know what a level 1 is or a level 2 or like a wrapped token. I don't understand any of those things. I just understand price and price in relation to major support and resistance, momentum, kind of all of those things. All right. Look for some more questions here. Here we go. So, Carlos, do you recommend market orders for when you exit a trade? I guess it depends. I mean, ideally, no, right? You're paying more fees, and that's kind of like a panic reaction. Ideally, you're have limit sell orders that are hitting that you've already kind of staggered them. Like, I've talked about scaling into your position. So let's say you split up your position into 4 entries. And as the price approaches major support, you've got maybe 2 of those entries in at different levels, one here and one slightly higher. So you want the price to bounce up and then hit your entry. If you get a really bad, candle signal and something happens fast, like I guess, but you should never really be in the situation where you're market ordering. Like you shouldn't really need to. I mean, that being said, I'd rather pay a fee and get a slightly worse price, and in order to kind of save my remaining funds that whatever is in that trade. But you should be staggering out and using limit orders. Let's take a look here. What else is going on? I'm gonna go down to the bottom and back up. Try to catch up. Loving the chat so far. What's going on here? All right. I already covered that. Someone asked me, how old are you? I'm in my 40s. I talk about that in my early to mid 40s. I talk about that in the cancer book, how I got cancer at age 39. And that was just a number of years ago. So I'm in my low 40s. That's well known. Stables or Bitcoin right now? I mean, that's kind of up to you. I think the thing is, if you're not already in a position with Bitcoin, this is a tough spot to open up a new position, right? If you didn't buy in the flash dip or you didn't buy here at the MA200, you're kind of waiting to see what happens here with the EMA8 and the MA200. So you're kind of, let me show you that because I just mentioned it. So if you didn't buy, right, if you didn't already buy here on this flash dip below the 200, and you didn't buy here at the blue line at the MA200, it's kind of stuck here in the middle. So you're waiting to see which one breaks, the MA200 or the EMA8. So it's kind of a tough position to be in. So BTC or stables, you probably should be in stables and then waiting for confirmation. You can always buy into bullish momentum once it breaks a key resistance level, right? When do you move your stop loss into profit? I always tried and getting stopped out earlier. Well, that's the thing. Is this one position, or the key mistake here is you're probably doing it all in one position. Split it up. So when I do trades, I often have 6, 8, or even 10 positions of the same position, just really small amounts, and that will allow me to, after say I'm in a long, and it's bumping up against resistance, boom, and it breaks through. I might then move half of those positions to just below that breakthrough level to kind of capture some of those gains. So you should use less positions, break them up, and stagger them. So if you're just doing one position, it's so much harder. It's all or none. Like I don't like the all or none trading. You need to be more nimble and more agile, and hopefully that might help you out. That piece of information. This person says Trading Wisdom is an amazing book. Thank you. Very much appreciate you saying that. We cannot see the chart. I know that. I fixed it. I fixed that, my friend. What's going on here? Can you take a look at near? Sure, we'll do a couple. What's near? I don't know what this is. Do I even have it on this list? Nope. Now the thing is, you need price history for altcoins. Okay. You need to have price history. So if there's not enough price history, there's not much I can do. Qcoin usually has some good price history in these obscure ones. There's not a ton of price history here, but you have a pretty ugly candle yesterday. So you had a big pump and kind of bears came in and said, nope. So this would actually, make me kind of want to stay away from this play for a while, certainly until kind of this level here is recaptured. If you can turn this level, if you can break that level, turn it into support, I think you'd be fine to maybe go back into the play. Let's see here. What else is going on? Let's see. Will we see 42 before 69? Yeah, like probably. I would say probably. I mean, you'd obviously at this point you'd have to say probably. I mean, it doesn't take like you don't have to be like a chart technician to know that, but because it's only 6,000 lower or 20,000 up, right? And bears currently have momentum. So, I mean, if you're asking me this question, hopefully you in your heart understand that it's more likely to see 42 than 69. 42 is still fine. That's the high of January, the low of February. We just need that level to hold. That's really a super duper ultra critical level. Obviously, MA50 in the weekly is extremely important as well. But I mean, this question, I mean, come on. Hopefully you know that answer. All right, what's going on here? Can you analyze BTC on Bitstamp with the weekly 200 MA? Okay, BTC USD on Bitstamp. All right, you want to see the weekly 200 MA. So we know historically that Bitcoin has bounced. I've done videos in this about we had the double touch on the MA 200. We had it back in 2015 and 16, kind of a double bounce, and then an EMA 834 bull cross. We kind of had that here. You had this double touch, boom. We had the double touch, and then the EMA 834 bull cross, and then it kind of broke down, but eventually rallied. After that COVID crash, so to speak. Your question is, so can you analyze it and act as near as market bottom? I mean, yeah. Look, obviously, if you buy on the weekly MA 200, like no one's going to tell you you're crazy. But that's pretty far down from here. So, I mean, you'd have to see the market break a lot of structure to get down to that level. And like it can happen. I'm not saying it won't, but it's not that conductive to start thinking about it quite yet. I mean, if you were looking at another chart, you'd say, I really would love to buy, maybe right there. You get the MA 200. If you got a super flash dip, I mean, that would be a crazy dip. But if it gets to that, basically, if you get to the weekly 200, you should have no fear buying. No fear. Either Bitcoin goes to zero or it's going to bounce. And I've got my money. I told my wife I was doing a video. It's got you basically at that point, like unless it goes to zero, like it's going to bounce from the weekly 200. So, weekly 200. Oh, I didn't have it up again. Look, so here's the weekly 200, right? You had the double touch. Sorry, I'm getting used to the Streamlabs here. You're going to double touch here. EMA 8. Oh, again, come on. You had the 834 bull cross. And basically, the point is, you've got the market would have to break a lot of structure really to go, from this level 48, 49K all the way down to, to the MA 200. So, if you get there, obviously you'd want to buy because that's been kind of the long term support. But it's pretty far away from here at this point. So unless we really start to convincingly close below the MA 50, I think we're going to be just fine. Let me just send this quick text. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. Recording video. So anyway, yeah, that's the MA 200. That answers that question. All right. Let's keep going on the questions. All right. Let's see. I answered that question about the stop losses, stables, or Bitcoin. Let's go down to the new comments. You had a question about some. I mean, that's 3 different ones. So we can just look at, let's look at, let's look at mana and sand for sure. These have been pretty strong and they're right back at kind of key levels. So mana, basically you want to keep it above 3 for momentum and it's got support here. We're kind of rejected and then found support in November. And now you're losing the MA50. So essentially the price now has dropped all the way through the moving averages, right? At this point. It's dropped through all the moving averages basically at this point, and really 3 is like the last support until it drops, I think, much lower and probably tags the 200. So you really want to see this hold above 3. Sand, I'd say a little bit stronger, right? Because you still holding that MA50 and AXS. I guess that's Metaverse. See, I didn't even know that. I've definitely done the chart, multiple times. We'll kind of throw that right there. I mean, in this AXS, obviously a lot weaker, right? So you can just look at it. You don't really need me to tell you which of these 3 is the strongest, right? Here's mana. There's sand, right? Sand still holding the 50, still within the Bollinger Bands. Mana's right there, lost the 50, and this one AXS looks pretty rough, pretty rough. So that's what I would have to say. Yep, I know, my fault. Oh, I just did it again. Oh my gosh. I promised I wouldn't do it, right? Or did I already do that? Anyway, I'll just make sure I had it. So there's AXS, right? You can see which one is below the MA50. You've got sand still trading above the MA50, the orange line, and mana just below it. So basically, you want to hold mana at 3. I'll just leave this up. You want to see it hold over 3. And you've got sand, which has relative strength. Let's continue on. Let's see. Don't get upset with the wife. No, I won't. I promise. I promise. She's great. She's great. Let's see. So, where do you see BTC in the intermediate term? Like, I don't know. Like, predicting is really anybody can predict, but why would I bother when I can just observe, right? I'm just going to observe. I'm going to observe if the price can break up above the EMA 8, or if it kind of loses the MA 200 or loses the weekly 50. That's it. We don't need. No one knows. Nobody knows what's happening next. Literally nobody. All right. Could you chart TLM? Sure. Take a little bit of that TLM. All right, TLM. What do I think about TLM? Yeah, a lot of better stuff to play, right? Look at this, look at TLM, and then look at like mana and sand. So when you're deciding what to play strength. Like, why would you play this chart? Okay, it's below these highs, right? It established a high, it broke it and came back. So you got that bull trap right there, and now it's kind of weak and testing lower support. So like, why would you play this when there are a lot of? This is a tough time for alts unless you're in like a few specific charts. So like I just showed you Luna and AVAX earlier. Like, why would you play this when you can play Luna or AVAX, right? Okay, look, second set mate right here. I explain it. Go to my YouTube, click on the educational live streams and watch this video. Watch any of them. I explain every moving average I use, why I use them. The short answer is because they work. I don't decide them. I let the price decide it. The price has told me these work. That's my rule. I listen to the price. So watch that video. I explain my whole setup. All right, my friend. Thanks for the audiobook. Thank you. I hope you enjoy it. I look forward to your feedback as well. What EMA setting do I use? Again, please watch that video. I recommended it in the beginning. All right. I talk about divergence, how to do divergence. Wrong one. I talk about how to do divergence. I talk about the moving averages I use. Go watch that. If you're new and if you're asking these questions, you're new, you have to watch these videos. It's going to save you like months of trading, if not more. All right. You got to watch those videos. They're masterclass webinars on TA, and they're free. All right. Let's just see what's going on here. 354 of you. Thanks for showing up. Can I analyze heat map? Yeah, I don't use heat map in order book. There's other traders for that. I think like Cantering Clark on Twitter is really good. He does that. I don't. I do not use that. I do not use ATR, average true range. Let's see. Ched, you got to make sure you have the charts up. Yeah, I know. I'm having too much fun here, 419 player. No chart again. That's me moments. Yep. Let's see. Can't see the chart, but we fixed that. Should be fixed by now for sure. Can you guys see the chart now still? I assume you can. It should be right up on the screen. Let's see. Paul, what's up, man? Matic versus Ethereum. That's an interesting pair. That's an interesting pair because let me just remove that. That's an interesting pair because Matic has been bullish and Ethereum has been bullish. I would expect this to be kind of flat. Like, the thing with like BTC pairs, I don't look at many of them. I just know in my mind, basically the price structure. I would expect that Matic Ethereum is basically sideways. Wouldn't you? Just here's Matic and here's Ethereum. So Matic ETH is probably just going to be sideways. Now let's check it out. But that's my gut, right? Matic ETH, right? Like what? Is it sideways? Let's see. Daily. It's been sideways for December, but it's been rising more, because it was strong recently. There's not a lot of price history on this pair. I mean, what you've got here is this just tells you short term Matic has been outperforming Ethereum, but like I wouldn't waste my time with that pair. And you can just see why, because Ethereum has been cooling off a little bit lately, right? Just over, just for the last couple of weeks, when Matic has been a little bit stronger, right? But if there's not enough price history on that chart, the Matic ETH, maybe it's on another exchange. But if you go back far enough, it's going to show you basically just sideways. Let's see if we can get it. And there you go. Look, what did I say? Without even looking at the chart, it's just basically sideways, right? I don't even need to look at this pair. I showed you how. I just looked at the Matic chart. I looked at the Ethereum chart, Paul. Hopefully that makes sense. So today, this is tricky. Chad's in the 1 hour squeeze. How do you enter a trade? That was kind of tricky because, with these 1 hour Bollinger squeezes, and the squeezes when the Bollingers get tight. Let's clean this up a little bit. Bollingers get tight after it went sideways for a while, and the Bollingers get tight. And honestly, a lot of time, the first move is a fake move. So you see like this first dip. Let's I'll tell you how I play it. But you see that first dip, and then it comes in, it rips. So I'd say it almost feels like more often than not. It almost feels like more often than not, kind of the first move is a false move, right? The first move is a fake move. So how you play it, though, really, it's the same as where you play it based on market structure and where you can define your risk clearly with a horizontal level. So clearly you go long here above 49.5. We've talked about that. Or maybe even use this candle. You basically take this green candle and say, that's going to be my candle for the pinch. Okay. Whichever way this candle breaks. All right. So if we go below it, I'm going short. Now you would have got stopped out, but then you could have re-entered that trade idea here on this candle, and then you would have been fine. And then look at that beautiful back test, pullback, which is a bearish retest and rejection. So basically, if you're going to play a squeeze, they're going to fake you out. So they're difficult. But if you want to play one, play it based on a horizontal. All right. That would be my way to do it. What's up, Steven? How are we doing on time? 6 o'clock. We get a little more time here. I do not use, where is it? So do I use MACD? I do not use MACD. It's a little too slow for me. First of all, I barely even use my indicators. I have the OBV and RSI, but like the more I trade, the more I realize you don't want to use those. You get so reliant on, the RSI is low, it's going to bounce. No, like RSI is low because it's bearish. All right. And you want to be out of bearish things, unless you're shorted them. I like to just focus on price and price structure and price in relation to support and resistance. So like the more I trade, I go so long without even looking at indicators. So I'm telling you, and maybe I have too many moving averages, but they all kind of do things for me. But I don't even use, so I don't use MACD, and I really barely and pretty much don't even use indicators. People rely on it too much, and it takes them away from observing the price structure. Okay. All right. That's a little bit of a rant. I don't know. How can you have multiple positions? It's got it wherever you trade. It's just based on your exchange. All right. That would allow you to do that. Let's see. By the way, hit like and hit subscribe. What is the author of the classical charting book? His name is Richard Schaubacher. It's SCHABA Schaubacher. And I've tweeted it out many times. Richard Schaubacher. Excellent book. You definitely want to check that out. Are you still short Sol? No, I'm out of my Sol short. I did really well in it. And it's been bouncing here, right? And not to say like I'm ready to go long on it or anything. But shorted this breakdown level. I took profit, right? I definitely took profit in this area, and you can see where would have really locked up profit when it regained really 168, 170, right? Because you could see it normally if it was going to continue. And what I do is I bring the stop loss down on the profit, right? On my trade. So if you come down, reject, and you come down, maybe you're going to reject and continue. But when it recaptured this level, that was a big momentum. That was a big signal, kind of that kind of momentum was coming back, right? So I exited the last of those positions when the price got above like 168, 169. What is going on here? But that was a really nice short on the 10th, December 10th. Thank you. Appreciate your support, Mo Cop. Appreciate that. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the audiobook, Yoni. Look forward to your feedback. Let's see here. Awesome. Thanks, man. That's cool. Glad to see the chat. I'm definitely not keeping up with all the chats. 'Cause I'm trying to do everything at all. Have you ever heard of Klim? I don't know what this means. Like, I'm telling you, and thanks for the super chat. And please, you don't like. I don't need that. Like, I'm just happy you're here, right? But like, I don't know what is a Klimadao. I don't like. Is it? I'm a chart guy. I can tell you about moving averages, price in relation to support and resistance. I understand people. I study people, but I don't like everything outside the chart. I don't know what a Klimadao is. So that's a better question for a fundamental analyst. And kind regards from Luxembourg. Kind regards to you, my friend. Thank you very much. Thank you much for everything you do. I appreciate that. I'm telling you, look, I just got wrecked so many times in my career, and I still make bad trades. I had a pretty bad trade just at the end of last year. Pretty bad. I learned some lessons from that. But like, I just learned a lot of lessons, and a lot of it was about myself, and I monitored my own behavior, and that helped me kind of teach other people. And that's how the book came about, and kind of everything I do. So it's like I'm atoning for my own bad trading mistakes, and plus I know I can help people, like save years of learning by kind of helping them out. It's fun. It works. Everybody wins. Let's see. So you have I have any experience with shorts? Any of your banter videos? It's the same concept. You're going short or you go long. You just flip the chart up, right? It just let's see here. It's just you flip the chart. It's the same thing. You enter your position with the idea that the price is going to hold on 1 second. Hey, I'm doing a video. You enter the trade with the idea that the price is going to go in a certain direction, right? And then you set your stop loss. Everyone's like, "Oh, how do I do a short?" It's just a trade. So how you do it is based on whatever your exchange is, wherever you're trading has to give you the functionality. It's the same as doing a long, except you're believing the price is going to go in the other direction, right? Don't overcomplicate it. It's the same as going. So it's the same. It's just a trade. It's the same, exact same concepts of technical analysis. What you're asking me is how on your exchange to physically enter it and what the buttons are. I don't know. I don't know where you trade, so you have to ask them. Let's see. Our charts look identical, but you've been doing it for years. Yeah, I'm telling you, muscle memory. I have all these lessons in the book. Go easy on yourself. Here we go. I just opened to this. Ready? Lesson 5, go easy on yourself. There's no shortcut to becoming a good trader. You must put in the time and effort to get there. Along the way, you will make the mistakes that will ultimately form the foundation of your trading style and philosophy. By suffering from these mistakes, you can learn what not to do, and as such, are able to develop a more effective trading instinct, right? How can you have a trading instinct if you haven't traded? So, all right. So how do I get there? How do I get the instinct without going tilt, without losing all my money? Bet small, smaller positions, smaller positions, smaller positions. All right. Also smaller positions, and use a stop loss. Stick to your stop loss, define your risk. You'll be okay. You'll stick around long enough to learn how to make a few bucks here and there. All right, what else is going on? I get a little more juice. Too many EMA on your chart. I only have 2 EMAs. I have the 8 and the 34. I use them for crossing. All right. I have the middle Bollinger, which is a 20. I use Bollinger Bands, and then the 50 and the 200. And they're both so important. I don't see how it could go without any of them. So I really actually only have 2 EMAs, my friend. But I respect the fact that you think there's too many. Simpler is better. It really is simpler is better. All right. Let's see. All right. Do you have any long-term holds? Yeah, of course. Oh yeah. Let me just check the chart here. Make sure I'm not missing anything before I get to this next question. I did that one, and let's see. All right, listen. Do I have any long-term holds? Yeah. Bitcoin. I mean, I'm a big believer in Bitcoin, right? And I'm not even like a fundamental analyst. It's scarcity. I understand scarcity, and that's the one thing that really helps me, convinces me to keep dollar cost averaging and keep adding. I also have Ethereum. I have Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think everything else is a joke. They're all just vehicles for speculation. So when people like the word that's the funniest to me in this space is like, it's a great project. Like, I don't care about a project. That's just fluff. Because I traded penny stocks back in the day, long time ago, and that's all about hype and people selling you on something that's not really there. And so I just see this stuff the same way. Altcoins, like whatever. It's just a vehicle for speculation. Trade it, right? If you want to know what to invest in, I'm not going to. I don't know. But I hold Bitcoin and Ethereum. If stocks crash, do you think BTC is newly adopted inflation hedge will it resist the? Nobody knows. Anybody can speculate how it would react, but I would point to March. I would point to the COVID crash. It took everything down. I would just tell you that if Bitcoin crashes like that, you want to buy. If you get like a crazy flash crash, you want to buy, especially if it's so low and so bearish that it feels uncomfortable. Like that's a good sign. That's when you want to buy. All right. All right, blah blah blah. Let's go. Not blah blah blah, but I'm just catching up. Let's do a few more. And thoughts on the Kadena chart, KDA. Kadena. Pretty sure I have it at the ready here somewhere. One of these KSM. I know I've looked at it, but we'll just fire it up again. I think a bunch of people are into this one. It's yeah, I definitely had it. Let's see. Yeah, I mean it's still a pretty decent looking chart, right? But it definitely I covered this last night for Bitcoin Live. It's broken down. You've lost that initial. You had the bull flag that was getting a little bit old, and you really wanted to have seen held like that $14.50, $15 range, and it didn't hold that range, right? It failed to hold it. You drop back down towards support. Now the thing you want to keep in mind is all this price action now is below the MA50, right? So you're looking at underside retest and rejection, right? So the price needs to get back up above the MA50, number one, and needs to get back up above that level there. Keep it nice and simple. Focus on horizontal levels. Think about the price in terms of momentum. Think about what might suggest that the momentum is increasing or decreasing. Those types of things. That's my thoughts on the Kadena chart. Which indicators are important to you to see that the entry and trade is perfect, and what's a good? Let's go to FTM. So, what indicators are important to you? It's not indicators. I don't use indicators. Like, first of all, look at this. I'm not even going to mention them tonight because they're not important. I want to see, like, one of my favorite setups is something called a spring, or it's a false break, right? We'll use this black line here. So let's say the price it's an uptrend, because I want to buy a dip in an uptrend. Well, first of all, my favorite setup, the easiest is a bullish throwback, and I'll go back to FTM in a moment. I'll promise you. But like Luna just did it, and I talked about it earlier. Luna did like a classic, super easy, like ABC trading one-on-one trade, right? You establish the high, you come back, you find support, you break through. All right, let me make sure the chart's up. You break through, you get overextended and then extended, and you come back and you do a throwback, a bullish retest, right? A bullish retest, boom, of that level, right? So that's like what I'm looking for. You asked me like indicators. I don't use indicators. I look for price structure. Another one, for example, a trade I took was on Bitcoin. I took a short on Bitcoin and I exited my long positions. We had a really crystal 100% clear signal when the head and shoulders failed. And I like live tweeted it and I did a video on it during this week. And a lot of the kind of less experienced traders out there were just identifying the head and shoulders, but they weren't identifying like where it fails. And that's what a lot of people, fail to, I used the word fail twice, but a lot of people do not do. Will say, oh, they're a bull and they're just perma bull and okay, it's head and shoulders. But what if it fails? What happens? This was a right shoulder failure, right? So I took a short and exited all of my non-hodl Bitcoin at this level. I already sold most of it. I pretty much sold most of my Bitcoin, my non-hodl, all my trading Bitcoin around 65K. I was spamming the top. I told you guys. I sold all my Ethereum at 4,800 and most of my discretionary Bitcoin up there. Like and I tweeted it. I told you about it. I wasn't hiding it. Okay. Any that I still had and stuff I had from buying back in and hoping for a stronger bounce, I got rid of it when this failed. When this right, so that's a setup I look for, a clear signal, like a pattern breaking down. All right. So that answers that question. We'll wrap it up. That question on FTM. Am I even in the right place? So you'll have to bear with me, folks. I appreciate that. I know I had it. All right, there it is. All right, I had it near the top. So the question is, what's a good entry? I mean, MA 200, the blue line. If you retest the blue line, but this looks a little bit weaker to me still, and you've got kind of the head and shoulders still playing out, and the target of that. I'll just do it again real quickly. Head and shoulders with two heads. When I put this out, people called me crazy on Twitter. Go find when I put out this tweet, and the price is up here at like $2. People were like, "You are a bear. It's FUD." You know, we were almost made it all the way to my target. I said, I think it was 67 cents. Not my target, the price's target. You take the height of the head to the neck baseline, and you extend it down, and that gets you to like 70 cents, right? So in theory, you might see this flush lower. But if you're really itching to buy this, you can buy at the MA 200. And if you do that, the one thing you want to keep in mind is, when's my idea going to fail? Okay. Your idea would fail if you break below that level, right? Below that prior low. All right. Let's just see here. All right. All right. That was fun. Let's see. How many hours do you sleep and work? Well, I work every time I'm awake. I'm quote unquote working, but like I don't have to tweet. I don't have to sit at the computer. I just do it. But I do a lot of other stuff, and I have a family life. But I'm always keeping my eye on the price action. So you could say I work I sleep 7 hours a night, every night, no problem. Plenty of sleep. And if I'm awake, I'm on top of it. I'm working, I'm keeping my eye on the price, but I can just go do stuff for a couple hours, and I can tweet from my phone. It's very easy for me to send out a signal to people. Hey, 1 hour Bollinger pinch, or relative strength on Luna, or whatever. I can still add value and give actionable and kind of valuable, notable information to people, even if I'm not at my desk or whatever. So I'm always quote unquote working, but it's a passion. I'm enjoying what I do. I do need to scale back a little bit. I was really intense here on Bitcoin, really intense from like this October 20 on, when I kind of smelled the top coming here at the end of October, and really when everyone was so bullish, and I was almost losing sleep over it, because like, these people are crazy. Don't they see what I see? And then I'm sleeping better now, because it followed through, and it, because things made sense. That the things I was seeing and telling you, came true, and I feel really good about that, because I feel like I added a lot of value and helped people. All right, let's Luke, thank you a lot for what you do. Let's see. What do I think about Elliott waves? I've studied them for CMT. I never use them. A lot about Elliott waves, to me, it feels like it's about predicting. And that's not my style, right? I don't like to predict. As you know, if you've you kind of, pay attention to what I've been doing throughout the years, I'm not really an Elliott wave guy. So I think I know some great Elliott wave traders. And like I said in the beginning, I'm not like, there are way better traders than me. I'm a decent trader, but I like to think of myself as an excellent educator. I try to be a great educator, a teacher. Trading's hard, and I'm not a great trader yet, because I'm still mastering my own emotions. I'm mastering my own greed and my own sloppiness and my own lack of impulse control, right? Those are things that I kind of need to work on. So this has been really fun. This has been super duper fun. I can't guarantee I'm going to be doing them that often. But if they pop up, they pop up. I definitely hope this has been of value. I hope it's been of value to you. I've had fun. I'm on Twitter. I'm at Big Cheds. Of course, the book, Trading Wisdom, I read a couple selections from it. I just released the Audible book, the audiobook version. It's on Audible, Kindle, hardcover, paperback. Reviews are great. Thank you for that. There's a free version on YouTube. If you can't afford it, you can't buy it in your country, check out the free version, right? If you're just a lot of the questions, my friends, that you asked, and I might not even have gotten to, educational live streams. Watch these, all right? These emergency live streams are really good. A couple of these are, I did kind of a brief lecture on like relative strength. You got to watch these. These are excellent as well. Take advantage, right? Take advantage. Go to Banter. Check out their Trading Wisdom playlist. I have 12 episodes. I do a show with them. We've got 12 episodes, 12 great guests. So kind of take advantage of all the free stuff out there. And if you're ready to step it up, if you're ready to take things seriously, I'm a founding analyst at Bitcoin Live. I've been doing videos for over 3 years. I don't know, we'll be 4 years at some point here in the early coming year, in the middle of the year. I do 2 updates a week. I haven't missed one in years. If I'm on vacation, I find a way, laptop. I get you an update. I'm watching the market, deep long form updates. Members are happy. I'm happy. I'm proud to be doing that. I'm enjoying doing this as well here on YouTube. This is new for me. I've been trying to grow my account and reach out to you folks, to reach out and kind of just grow the network. I'm having fun. So look, if trading's hard, bet less. All right. Bet less so you can stick around. You can stick around and get the experience, in order to kind of stay in the game. So that's my advice. Bet less, take advantage of the free stuff that's out there. And I think that will go a long way to getting you to where you want to be. So let's finish this up with a little bit of a party here, and we'll do it. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate you no matter what. If I didn't get your question, I'm sorry. I'll try better next time. If I missed your questions on Twitter, I apologize. I get a lot. Notifications are crazy these days. I try to keep up. Take advantage of the free stuff I have. That will help you out a lot. All right.